So here's a summary of where we've got to so far with Kanku-Dai, Kosokun-Dai, or Kushanku. The initial motion there has been essentially a default motion. So you've lost control, you've been overwhelmed, you do this. Driving those arms forwards will hopefully deflect his arms one side or the other. And once your arms are up, your jaw's protected from the side as well. So as part of swinging in shots from there, just kind of wedge in. Once I've wedged in from there, I can't stay there. I need to establish a position of advantage. So the kata has the arms apart. As the arms stand apart, I'll learn out where I am. So I crash in and I go, right, that's an arm, that's a head. So I know I'm on this side. If I am on this side, I want to move away from the uncontrolled arm. So I'll wrap this arm as I move to the side and I strike in with this arm. If I was on the other side, then I would move the other way. So don't get hit, find out where he is, move one side or the other. Just on that one there. Once I've got into this position, I have this barrier between the two of us. So I can strike from here as well, but if he tries to hit me with that other hand now, I have control over it. When I feel it's appropriate, just like we did, I will hit him with whatever techniques I feel are necessary, and then I get out with it. The next motion you've got is the stacking of the hands, so we'll show that this way around. Essential idea of that one is you're using the arm to find the head. So the hand is very mobile, but if you follow the arm back, the head's always right next to the shoulder, right? So once you've made contact with the arm, I pull my hand towards my hip and get my hand here. If I get a lock, that's a bonus, but I don't even need it. Even that will do. I've just got to slide up the arm. Some styles do it open hand, some styles do it closed, doesn't make any difference. Once I've located the head, I can lock on and then I can get my subsequent shots on from here. You can also do that from the inside, so if we made contact here, I'll take my arm underneath. You should always go underneath. If you go over there, you can sometimes miss. If you go underneath, there's always more arm, right? Going over, roll the arm on, find out where the head is and here. So from the outside, again, I can go here. If I'm on the inside from there, again, I can go here. So I can quickly find out where his head is and put myself in a dominant position. The next sequence we looked at, the weight shifts to one side. So now we have some weight shift going on. It's no longer just trying to move the arms, it's trying to move him by causing pain. So with the locks, I'm not looking to get any kind of submission, definitely not. I may injure the joint, but that's not my primary aim. My aim is to get him to move so he's in a better position to strike it. So if I go from there to here, again, now I've got my weight shifting, that will put pressure through the joint. Once he's there, I can unload from here. So I can go against the arm down, I can go against the arm up, being the second part of that motion. So as well as going over the top, if his elbow is a bit lower, I can go this way. Boom. And that will set him up for other things as well, right? Following those, you've got this kind of pulling through motion. So that's your basic lower arm drag, right? So if I'm there, I can move this arm through to hit, if I want to take the gambler's choice, because you may miss the head, or I can go at the body, less of an effect, but it's more likely to land. The next thing I've got is I can bend the arm and strike back at the neck. So I can shift my weight to the side, straight down over here, which will give me this. Throw this shoulder forwards, which will throw that shoulder backwards, because they're obviously connected. And that will mean there's less chance of him landing an effective shot with a hand. I'll strike into his neck, and again, I'll put this barrier in position. Next bit we've got is the kick, and some have a straight arm, some have a bent arm. It doesn't matter which way around you do it, really. But it's telling you it's behind, so it's telling you once you're behind your opponent, you can either grab here and kick, in which case it'll normally fall that side, or I can grab here and kick. Straight arm, and in which case it'll land on this side. We've put all of that together in a drill. It's not a combination. You wouldn't go, right, I'm going to hit him with all of this. It's just a way you can drill those discrete parts with a partner in a time-efficient way. So if he swings in his shot, I can wedge, I go to here. I'll then put my arm between my body and his arm. I'll roll it over, find the head and give him a hit. If he swings a shot from there, I'll feel it coming because that arm moves. More effective way of checking it. I can then go against the arm, pull through, bend the arm, strike into the neck, move behind, kick and take the leg out. So if I show you that from the other side as well. Swings his shot, 1, 2, roll over, find the head and hit. He swings his shot, against the arm, pull, hit. Here, move the arm around, kick and take him down, suitable finish and back away. So that's a first Kushanku, Kosokun-Dai, Kanku-Dai drill that we do in my own dojo. Okay, so far stuff we did in the second session. So we recap what we've done in the first. Obviously, then we started with Shuki. So Shuki's job is to get past that limb into the target, right? If the arm's there, you can't strike. You need to get rid of it. So one basic one is I'll reach with my backhand and I'll kind of push in with it. Once that's there, this is open. So I can strike over the top from here, striking with my forearm. I've got that barrier. I'm in a position where I can continue to work. If I was to push in and I felt resistance, normally because he's tensed his back up, then I'll go this way instead. So I'll go that way, this arm comes underneath and grabs, and then straight over. And it works the other way too. So if I was to pull in and he resisted, then I would push over the top. So the knife hand, the same movement gives you two entries, inside or outside. I then got you to do one of our lower grade drills where we did it in fours. So your partner keeps kind of putting the arm up in the air there, so it's between the two of you. First one I push you down, he then puts it back, I pull, grab and hit, push, pull, grab and hit. So just four alternating. Partner gives you the side, and then outside, inside, outside, inside. And then Sven would do it back, and that would be the end of the drill. We then talked about the transitions if he blocks either one of the first. So it doesn't matter to me if I go on the outside and then he blocks it, or if I went on the inside and he blocks it, it's still the same. What I then do is guide this hand into this gap, always underneath like we talked about. So it's guide, I'll push the arm in and through his stance as I'm stepping forwards like the Kata does, because it'll be that that'll drive him backwards, and then from there I can strike. If he blocked it, you can make a little drill out of it. So I'll push and he blocks it, and then I'll go here, and then he blocks it, I'll go here, and then when we've had enough, push the arm down and he'll come over the top, and then we just reverse it back the other way, right? And as I mentioned, you can start playing with it as well at a certain point. So I could go here and you could go and block it, and then I can go, okay, I'll go into all of this stuff, and you can start to mix and match it a little bit. We also looked at how you could put all that together with the first part, if you so minded. So if he swings it a shot, and again I'll wedge in, hit, roll the arm over, find the head, he swings a shot, against the arm, pull through, hit, but he blocks this one. And then you're into your knife hands, you can start doing that until you've had enough of it, and then you can go back to all this stuff as well. Or move behind him and kick his leg out if you want to make it simple. For the Nukate, it's probably better to show that the other way around. It's essentially a basic balance break that we make use of later on as well. So we're not striking with this, we're striking with this, big striking surface. I'm either pushing the arm across and going here, which you see in some versions, or I'm pulling the arm towards my hip, and then I'm going here, which you see in other versions, both entirely legitimate. The next bit was this bit, and we looked at a couple of variations. So if the arm had came in, and I've kind of checked it from the inside, I could already do plenty of stuff. The Kata wants to show me how to do more. So I bring the arm underneath the elbow, and I push it across. Just that very act of pushing across, in that moment, he can't hit me with that hand. If Sven tries to come back to me in that moment, I've got that kind of jam. It's not like I can get here and hide behind it forever, but for that split second, it'll give me the protection I need. As soon as I've got that, he's now opened up here and here. Ideally, I want to strike him on the base of the skull, which you see in a lot of versions. But if I was, shorter than he was, or he's rolled his head in a little bit, that might not be there, so I would strike the kidneys instead, which you see in other versions. It'll also turn his leg a bit, so I'll kick that leg out. I'm then going to move in. If we're doing the Shotokan version, I'm going to hit to bring his head in towards me and wrench it back. There's your Manjuki. If I follow on with the rest of it, I bring my hand towards his face, smash him in the face, grab the chin and the back of the head, and then I've got a rather violent neck crank to finish off. In the other versions that don't have the Manjuki, it would start off in the same way, but you would club here. And then normally they punch the face and then they go that way. And then you can kick his leg out and all the stuff we've done before as well. I think that was all of it. Right, let's do it. So the last little bits that we looked at, we're starting off a grip. So we're looking at this part of the Kata here. So partners has gripped us. The essential idea is it's at 90 degrees, so it's telling us I need to move at 90 degrees. So the first way we did it was just the technique. I reach over at 90 degrees, I roll this arm over, that gives me my cup and saucer position and the angle. It would then be a hair grab. We can vary that if the hair's not long enough by pulling the thumb under the nose. For everyone's comfort, we can use the gi instead, but we're still thinking of a hair pull. I'm then going to kick that knee out with a front kick or a side kick, depending on the style, and the aim is to drive it to the ground. It would be a violent pull and a violent kick, but that sudden puts a lot of pressure in the knees. Right? The knees suddenly have a lot of load while they're being kicked. So in practice, we always do that very gently, right? So you move to the side, I'll get to there, I'll grab, and I just let my partner kneel down on the floor, because I don't want to bust his knees up. And then find out where his head is, put my hand on it so I've got that targeting, should he move, and then I smash him with my elbow. And that's fine to drill it that way to start with, but the next thing you should be doing is adding a bit of energy into it. So he swings his shot and you block it, we did it with that one. I'll hit him with something else. I'll move to the side and I'll do the Kata technique, I'll finish with whatever way I want to, and then I'll back up. Is okay, so you start to add things on the beginning then. Ultimately, we didn't talk about this, but you get your partner to put the gloves on, they grab you, and they've got 10 seconds to land as many shots as possible. And you've got to get out of it using all the various Kata methods you've got. You can make it live, but we didn't do that today. The next bit, you've got some knife hands at the angles. So if you've got the one at 90 degrees, I'm moving at 90 degrees relative to him. So I want to be in this pocket. And I'll just do the technique on his own first. So I'll move to here, which is similar to what we did before, but it's now adding in these angles, this extra dimension. And if I can get here, it's better, right? There's a very good chance that when I move, he may realize I'm moving and he'll move too. So if when I move from there, he moves and he blocks it. I'll then go 45 degrees, just like the Kata does. So there's my 90 degree one, the next one's over there. So and I'll do the same pass as we did before, pass, push, strike, to get onto the second one, right? So put all those two together, you move off the side, he blocks it from there, gathers through, strike, bang, 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 you're done. We talked about, some of you did it, where if you can combine that off the grab. Right? So if I was going to move to the side, and I'm doing the elbow, but he suddenly counters it. So yeah, that's it, but I'll show the first one. So I'm starting to get it, and then he goes, boom. Okay, it's not there. So you move on to something else. So I'll strike down to his arm. I might get lucky and it might knock the grip off, but I'll move in and strike. But if he blocks it, even though he's still got hold of me, you just carry on with it. He's okay, then you end up with this position where his arms are tied up and you've got free rein to strike him. And at some point he's got to let go because he needs his arms back, he needs to do it, right? So you can do it without the grip, you can do it on the grip. The next thing we looked at was this bit. So from the inside, similar to what we did earlier, I'm pushing across, I'm striking, I'm kicking that leg with it moving away. I then move this arm down and I either strike here, or if his head's high enough, I could go here. So it's a nice thing about that movement, it's the same movement, whether I hit with this bit, or whether I hit with that bit. Doesn't make any difference. It's a clever counter move. What I can then do from there, having done all that, is I can withdraw my leg back out, slide my arm towards his elbow, and I'll go here. So that will be like shock loading that joint. I will then grab the hair and pull it back to bring his head up from there, and then I can get my shots in. The next move in the Kata is behind you in the Kata, which means behind him in application. So I can move behind, I can take this from there, I can move in while he's off balance, I can start putting my knees into his spine. If I want it to be super nasty from here, I'll do what the Kata does, I'll push forwards. So everything bends the way it's not supposed to bend. When you're practicing with a partner, to be nice to one another, give him room to fall, take him down that way. So you're not busting his knees, his spine, or his hips up. As we did, you can add that with the two knife hands. So I do the first knife hand, he blocks the second one, I bring my arm under here, and then I push through and I'm into all of that stuff again. I can go, you can start, mixing drills up together on that one. We then skip the head. So we looked at the neck ring throw, the kubi-wa, as Funakoshi calls it. So again, contact with the arm in some way. You can do this one off a grapple as well, but this is how we did it here. I'm going to move that arm across, slam this arm across his chest as I'm moving for the nukate. So I've got him going already. I'll then gather the head up. If I'm following the Kata, I'll take my back foot round. As the back foot moves away, it'll bring this side of my body forwards. So I'll get that, which will bring him down, and then I can finish him off. We mentioned some variations you can do. So and you can mix and match them, you can blend them together. But one variation is once you've got that head in, you can push to keep his posture messed up. The photograph of Funakoshi doing that one. Or what I particularly like, especially if he's grabbed your arm, is I'll start it off, I may even move my foot a little bit, but I'll put my hand on his face. Because then I can peel my arm free as he falls, and I know exactly where his head is for my following shot. I think that was all we formally did. And then you asked a couple of questions, so I may as well show you those ones as well. About the spin under. So you can do this as a solo technique or off a grab. So easy, swing it like a baseball bat, bring it like a church bell. So I'm there, take this hand across. I then step under it, bring it over my back to there, and then if I want it to be nasty there, I pull straight down now, which will rip at his shoulder. For my partner's safety, I allow him to point his elbow upwards so he can fall down nice and easily. You can do that off the grip. So if he's grabbed your wrist for whatever reason, you know, bring your arm underneath and you go here, so arm goes under, arms go up, which again, at this point you'll get a lovely crunching sound as all 4 of his fingers go pop. For practice, I'll bring it to there, and then again, swing it like a baseball bat, bring it like a church bell, as you step underneath. And a related technique, that one goes up, this one goes down. You've got this one here, you can put your hand over the top, so you've gone for an eye gouge or something, he's grabbed the wrist, you don't like this, lock that on, double kick from there, strike in the face if his head's up, if he's dipping, strike down. Final bit was the Kata shoulder wheel throw. So we'll do it off this forward, it's the same size as the Kata. Instead of going straight in, which you see at MP, you're going to the side and then pulling him in. So some styles do it with both arms up, which typically indicates just throwing him right up in the air and off your back. Others do it with one arm up, which would indicate throwing him that way. So I'll just show it this way. Take hold of that arm, so you're pulling it over your head. So you load his weight onto your shoulders. See how he is now, and then he's relatively easy to lift. And then I would just continue to throw him. If, I'll show you how to do it wrong. If I go there and he's like that, there's no way I'll lift him. I need to pull his weight so he's loaded onto my shoulders and then I can lift him up. But that's a very advanced technique, right? And which is the end of the Kata. You compare it with what we did at the start, is he swings shot and you wedge. So you see there's a progression in technical difficulty as you move through the Kata, as there is often in a lot of them. That okay? I think that was everything. Everyone's nodding. So that either means, yes, that was everything, or no, stop talking now, please. Exactly that. There's one thing that, if I swing and you don't move at all, so I swing the arm, but that creates the gap. So I move into behind. Let's say I swing the arm and it really goes. He goes, I'm already behind him. So, you know, he's moved. Or it's half and half. He moves a little bit and I fill the rest of the gap. Is that all right? So, and the thing is as well, is these are things that the Kata cannot know. It can't know how well he's going to move. It can't tell you where his feet are. Is he going forwards, backwards, left, right? Are there obstacles? You can't know. So the Kata never attempts to tell you, this is how you get to this angle, because it can't know. There's too many variables. It only says, get to this angle. And then through your partner training, you practice lots of different ways of getting to it. So in application, you can choose which one's appropriate for the circumstances. And exactly that, we're one of those three. He moves, you move, or you and him move. All right. Pad drills for Kushanku, Kanku-Dai, Kosokun-Dai, what we've looked at so far. So the first thing we had yesterday, we looked at this wedge. So to get a slightly more realistic feel of it, the partner can dab the pads towards you, so you get the feeling of the arms crashing in. So we're essentially doing the first thing we did yesterday, but on the pads. So partner comes in from there, you crash in, and once you're getting close from there, I would be striking into the neck. Obviously, if I've got the pads, I want to be hitting stuff hard. It's dangerous if he does that. That's not a pad holder, that's a head guard. If you hit it hard, he'll still get 90% of the force through it. So for safety, I'll dress back a little bit, or my partner will, and I'll go from there to there. So I'll get to do the movement, but we're in a different position than we were. Again, as we talked about, you can do a couple of those if you like. Hand then goes underneath, I roll the arm over and put the arm on, which I'll just turn around this way. If you get that arm lock and it's quite effective and it's here, again, you make the pad holding really difficult for him. So I'll let it come off. I would be sliding up the arm to find the head, and I still want that sliding feeling, so I'll slide over this arm towards the pad. Once I've got it from there, again, I'll throw that hit. So the hikate is still gripping the arm, like it would. Right, so I've got this feeling here. We'll turn it round. He then swings that pad towards my head, which I'll check. I'll roll it over, I'll go against the arm. So it's a real arm, we have to take some of the force out on that. I'll roll it and I'll come the other way, so we've practiced the other variation. I'll pull it through. He dresses slightly that way, he moves across and puts the pad at whatever height I want to work it at. So bang, I can hit this pad here. I'll then strike down onto the arm, and then he'll bring this pad up from there so I can come back and hit it with the Soto or Uchi, whatever you label it as. When I'll move the arm across, I'll move behind him, I'll kick that leg out and take him down. He'll then hold the pad, not in front of his face and not near the floor, safe height for him. I'll then finish off with my shot and I move away. So that was the first one we did. We then looked at some for shuto, or knife hand. So the simplest, when I strike here, the initial impact will be at about 45 degrees to his neck, and then it follows through. So I'll hold the pad at about 45 degrees, so when my forearm connects, it's hitting it flat. He'll then put the other pad in front of it, and he simply practice taking that pad out of the way, so you can come in and strike over the top, just like you would be doing. But now it's a pad, of course, I can smash it in a little bit harder than I obviously would to his neck. When we did when he blocks it and you pass the other side, we can continue doing that on the pad. So we start from this position, I move it and bang, but that's, as well as being a fake head, it's his real arm. So having done that, I can bring my arm under, I can parry and move, and then we've got this little drill here where I can move forwards, dropping the Shutos into the pad from there. And the final one we had a little look at, was just putting that into context, was I have my hand on the pad, like I would have it on his head, so I can feel where he is when I hit him. 2 quick shots, so palm heel, he then puts the pad in the way, or in his arm. So then that's when the knife hand will come into play. So I'll push it down, I'll strike over and go bang. I'll then push on the pad and step through and hit. So what that would simulate is I've gone here, push, whoomp. I do the oizuki, the junzuki at the end of it. So nice simple one, it's a Q-grade pad drill. So there, here, bang. And that was our 3 that we've done so far. Okay. So a summary of some of the pad drills we did in the second part. So the first one we were looking at was, and it's a good illustration of when you need to make compromises on the pads. So the technique that we, just wait a little bit. The technique as we did it yesterday was pushing across from here to strike or to strike and to kick that leg out. Right, but obviously if he's got the pads on and I've done this, he can't hold that pad in place and that one gets really awkward because that's the whole point, right? You push the arm across so he can't use that arm effectively. So what we'll do on drills like that is I need to just think about the impact. So Sven puts a pad up there and I still think of moving his arm up and across, but I'm striking in here now. Maegeris against these are a bit of a waste of time, right? Because you can't generate enough resistance. Save the Maegeris for the punch bags and the kick shield. So, but to still get the feel for it, I'll do a rising kick instead. Bang. He then moves it out of the way. I use the stance up, bang for the final shot. So you can do the same thing, and you should still do what you would do with your hands. I'm still thinking of pushing. I'm still thinking of kicking that arm up. Then I'm pulling his arm down as I'm moving for the strike. So I'll still do everything with an arm. There's just nothing in it now, right? So, but at least you get the impact for it. The next one we need, I just need that pad off, if that's all right. So this was the one that you also find in Yodan. You start swinging shots in at me, stop those shots in whatever way you want. He then turns the pad to give you something to hit, like you're going to stop it and whack. So I'll then hit the pad. I'll move 90 degrees, I'll roll over. It's a real arm, so I'll be careful on this one. Grab, pull and kick that knee. Again, it's a real leg, don't kick it too hard. He then turns, double braces it, puts the pad where his head was. I can then drive the elbow in for the shot. So nice simple one where you have to make some compromises, but at least you get that feel for being hit, for putting that counter strike in, for getting into this position, kicking him down, giving him a chance to move, bang. I get to put the actual elbow in, right? The next one we did, you'll be all right with that one, where we talked about the neck ring throw. So as karateka, we use the strikes primarily to knock the guy out, but if he's wobbling, that's when we would look to do throws. You know? I think you can get away with one for this one, actually, yeah. And then, of course, when we throw them, the throw is the objective, we're getting them in a position to throw. So partner puts a partner from here. The idea being I'm pushing, I'm hitting, I'm stepping in from a neck ring throw, take him down and hit him on the floor. Normally, we wouldn't go right hand to the left pad because of the dangerous slipping off. But for drills where you're controlling one actual limb, you have to do that. So partners put the pad up, arms in the way of it, something like that, push the arm out of the way, throw him across, continue to move in from a slam across the chest, do your neck ring throw to take him down. He holds the pad up, not in front of his head for obvious reasons, not too close to the floor, so I don't rip shoulders or smash his hand into the ground. Give it a decent hit with whatever you like to finish off on, and you move away. Do you mind taking both pads off for a second? The last one we talked about the importance of, don't think of it as a pad. You need to think of it as a head, a groin, whatever it is you're hitting. So you get that visualization. Otherwise, all you've ever done is hit people's hands. Right? So the technique that we did was, so you're in the middle of a fight, his arms are up, you pop them down and you go from here. Slap him with the fingers hooked. Reach and grab his head from there, palm heel, I got to throw an elbow and he blocks it. Don't bring your arms this way because his arms are on the inside, then you're giving him an advantage. Roll this hand over to here. Knee the rear thigh or the groin to start bringing forwards. Once I realise he's going that way, I'll use the momentum to pull him down. Dangerous technique, you've got to be sure it's justifiable, but for the exercise of practicing dropping body weight, I would then do a hammer fist, I would stamp on that ankle and then I'm out. So we did that with a partner a few times so you get it. Then what we did was we put it onto the pads. So it's a fairly easy one to hold for, your partner just double braces throughout. I can still visualise slapping the arms down, but obviously now his arms are holding the pad. Put the hand on the pad, palm heel, which would be his head, elbow, which would be his arms. Reach and grab the real head, see how he moves it well away from his body. Not with his arms like that, because it'll go through his elbows with enough of a cushioning. Knee him from here, pull him forwards, hand on the head. Let that go, he'll put the pad there. Good idea to double brace it, because I'm so much higher, I can generate a lot of power. If you do it with one arm, you can really tear in those tendons, so you'll double brace it for safety. Hammer fist from there, step away, stamp, don't stamp anything. If you've got the mats down, you can stamp it to the mat. And do you mind if you just have one of the pads for the solar version? That's it. And then, as we go to it, you can do it on your own. So whenever you're touching your partner's head, you can put your hand in the pad and it kind of simulates that. So you can do pad drills on your own. So from here, you can go palm heel, elbow. So that's head, head, arms. Reach around the back of the pad like we did. I have to drop it for the groin shot. Turn to the side. Turn it over, obviously. Hammer fist, step and stamp. So you can do solo pad drills as well. You can practice your headbutts, your close range elbows, your uppercuts, pulling the guy down, bang, bang, bang. You can practice loads on the pads on your own. So if you haven't got bags at home, punch bags and stuff, get yourself a single focus mitt. You can do impact training on your own. It's a reasonable way to do it. Okay.